Well, hello there. And I don't know who's going to see this at 5:37 in the morning. I mean, I know we have a lot of international fans, but this is a very impromptu live stream. And what is this about? I mean, this is really about self-actualization now, isn't it? Sports fandom is about so much more. Now, I got to tell you, this is a little bit on I got to tell you it's a little bit awkward to be doing a live stream with absolutely zero people watching, but I wanted to do this. And it's 5:37 in the morning and I just finished programming the Dance Film Festival. And I'm reminded of a conversation that I had and it pertains to sports. All right, we got two people. We got two people watching. Love it. Love it. It's maybe we can build up some steam. Maybe we can catch some people waking up. All right. It's 5:40 in the morning and I just wanted to say this. I've been accused of being a very negative fan, and I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to understand sports psychology. Why do people watch sports? Let's talk about it. What what function does sports accomplish in our lives, right? Um, can anyone who's listening right now, can you let me know like the mic's all right? The mic's all right. There's, we got five people watching right now. That's nice. Hang on, I'm gonna come back in one. All right. So, Mike is fine. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. So, I want to talk about what sports accomplishes in our lives, right? And I'm going to base this on over 20 years to be more than 20 years, 25 years of being a basketball fan, right? The number sort of fluctuates depending on when I'm recalling it, but I'm reminded that I was a basketball fan in 1995, and that's, gosh, it's coming on 30 years. I feel old saying that. And sports has served as a lot of different functions in my life, and I just want to talk about it because I've gone through a crazy, absolutely insane trajectory in my life to the point where I'm going to share this with you guys. In 2001, my dad died, right? 2000, 2001. And the fact that Michael Jordan was coming out of retirement in 2000, like when he was coming out of retirement, when I heard that, man, it really just it gave me something to look forward to. You know, it's a strange thing to say, like something horrible happened in your life, but man, Michael Jordan's coming out of retirement. That's something to look forward to. Jam Joss, rent free. I know what you're alluding to. Trust me, it ain't about him. And I'm reminded of a conversation that I had in 2016. No, I didn't. I was finishing programming the Pendance Film Festival, and we'll get into that a little bit. In 2016, I'm having a conversation with this guy, and he's the son of a very major actor from Bollywood, right? And the major actor is this huge, like, he's a major actor. Like, he's been in 360 films, and he's passed away now. And I was telling this guy, I'm like, yo, your films are like, they're not very smart. Like, they're very, I don't mean to be rude, but they're very baseline. Like, it's very simplified. Everything's so happy. Like, what gives? And like the mainstream stuff is so like that. And now I'm noticing the same thing happening here. And he said something to me that I'll never forget. He said, "Bro, people got really tough lives. They're not trying to go to the cinema and be sad. They're not trying to go to the cinema and think. The cinema for people who are experiencing hardships in life, like they don't have money, they don't have a good job, they're having trouble with a home. They're going to cinema to laugh or be entertained and escape. It's all about forget my life for 2 hours when I go to the cinema. I'm not trying to go to cinema and, cry my eyes out because shit, my life makes me cry enough, right? And it got me thinking, I was like, man, sometimes our artistic entertainment consumption choices reflect so deeply the state of our lives. I'm programming the Pandance Film Festival. We get films from all over the world. Exactly. Me too. Me too. I don't like cheesy movies either. I think some of us have a lot of problems in our lives. And that's not shade on anyone who has problems in their life. I had a lot of problems in my life. Throughout my life, I've gone through periods of deep sadness. I've gone through periods of extreme poverty. And during those moments, I don't want to bring any more complexity into my life. At that point, I was just rooting for my favorite team to win. I was just wanting to watch the most entertaining flick with the most things that blow up on television. I just wanted to escape. And why wouldn't I? My life was a horror show. So why wouldn't I want to use entertainment to escape? I'm going to point to something right now. It's called the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, something that is often talked about, but often misunderstood. This is a hierarchy, and I think you need to understand this by starting at the bottom. Starts with physiological needs, move to safety needs, love and belonging, esteem, self-actualization. Keep that pyramid in mind when I bring up the next thing. One of the things that I love about this channel, loved throughout. One of the things I've loved about Pandance, the film festival that I run, one of the things that I love about my life is that my life is full of people that I deeply admire. Deeply admire, man. The people in my life, yeah, I'm not trying to brag, I'm not trying to flex, but the people in my life, wherever they started with their lives, yo, they're doing great. They're doing great work. They're doing meaningful work in the community. They're good family people. They're good friends. They're trying their best. They don't always succeed, but they're attempting something. They're doing something with their lives. It's a beautiful thing. They're not losers. And put it that way. They're not losers, right? They're not rich. Maybe a lot of people I know are not rich. It's not about money. It's about intention. What are they doing with their lives? Yo, shout outs to Erica Plays. Shout outs to Tam Berlin. Shout out to Coach Mo and all these people that come and populate these chats and have been a part of this channel. I find them to be I find them generally to be forward thinkers. I find them to be people who are trying to do meaningful shit in their lives. And so, yeah, if you're good with your life, sports is going to take on a completely different meaning. It's not escapism anymore. It's okay that your team is not great. It's okay that your team is struggling, and then you can start piecing together an idea of how to make it better, and you can extrapolate and you can use sports to explore a whole bunch of different topics. Yo, if you watch ESPN First Take, what are you really getting? What are you really getting? Are you learning about basketball? You really think you're learning about basketball by watching the TMZ of sports? You're not. You're getting hot takes. You're getting entertainment. It's really just it's background noise, right? You don't have to engage with it. You don't have to think with it. But if you go listen to Thinking Basketball podcast, you're not getting that at all. You might get some really hard truths about a star player that you're rooting for. You might get some hard truths about a team that you're rooting for. You might get some stats that are gonna make your head spin, and you're gonna have to think about it for a little bit. And yo, if your plate is full, if you got rent due and you don't know how you're going to pay rent, and you got child support payments, and your marriage is on the rocks, and you're unhappy with your life, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to deal with that? You wouldn't want to deal with that. Why would you? Leaning into reality, in my opinion, just my opinion, leaning into reality brings us one step closer to a better future. If you don't have a series of problems in your life, you have room in your life for complications. The Raptors, to me, are a complex problem that requires a series of complex solutions, right? It's a means of exploring and exercising my mind in different directions, be that mathematics or whatever. When we're not in school, we can get pretty stupid really fast if we don't push our minds. The mind is a muscle just like anything else. I hope this is going to connect with somebody later on, man. Like, because I think that this will. If you can use basketball to learn about the world, if you use basketball to connect with other people, if you use it for more than escapism, then basketball can be so much deeper. And it's okay. And I'm trying to say it's okay if your team isn't very good one year. And I'm saying it's okay if you're someone who doesn't want to accept that. I think it's okay that you are using basketball or politics or Seinfeld reruns or The Office or TMZ or YouTube or even these live streams to escape something that you were pushing off in your life. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. My girlfriend often jokes that these are therapy sessions. I get it. It's funny, but I get it. Like we're all there's a reason for everything. There's a reason why you watch the Raptors, and I'm just asking you to be honest about it. It's okay to be honest about it. There's a reason you go and watch Marvel Avengers over some art house film. And it's not just because the art house film is stupid and Marvel Avengers is super exciting. There is a deeper reason to it, right? This is the reason. This is the reason. Look at the physiological needs: air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction. Most people in Canada would take almost everything on that level for granted. That's the luxury of living in this country. And that's the luxury that maybe most of us do not really understand deep down, that we are blessed. The minute you live in a country like Canada, Sweden, anywhere in North America, really, you are somewhat blessed relative to the rest of the world. And I hope you appreciate that and realize that. Going beyond that, safety needs, personal security, employment, resources, health, property. Now we are officially in the negotiable range of some people have it, some people don't. And depending on how hard you work in your life, depending on some luck, you might be born into the right situation. You have it or you don't. Now, if you don't have the second level, how the hell are you supposed to climb to self-actualization? How are you supposed to deal with that? That's the question. Moving up, love and belonging. How many people are actually happy with their friendships in their life? How many people feel like they have an intimate partner, that great relationships with their family, and a sense of connection with other people? And we're all looking for connections, right? It's a basic human need. It's a very basic human need to connect with other people. Is a basic human need. It doesn't matter. I don't care how you do it. But man, we are literally in an age where there are so many dudes, and I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying, I'm just putting this out there. I had a lucid thought at 5:30 in the morning, and I just wanted to put it into a live. We are in an age where there are men who are having relationships with OnlyFans models to replace the intimacy that they lack in their lives. Is that the truth? Yeah, that's true. That's funny. Sorry guys, trying to read these comments and appreciate 19 of you guys hanging out with me at 5:50 in the morning. What I'm trying to say is these communities that we're building here, these spaces that we're talking in, they can be a means to more. They really can be. It doesn't have to be all rah rah fandom. I've never appreciated that. James, like in the group that you run on Facebook, the Raptors fan group. And I appreciate James for one reason. He's not about the censorship, and he kind of lets people vent it out. And I've always appreciated that about him. I don't always agree with James, and we've had our back and forth, and we've had our disagreements. We have, right? I mean, you're watching right now, we have. But one of the things I've always appreciated about James is he kind of tells it as it is. I'm not always going to agree with him, but he lets people vent it out, and as long as it doesn't cross the line, it's cool. And to me, that's good. Talking. I'm gonna tell you what movie actually did this for me. There's a movie called it's basically called Men in the Woods, and it's about this dude who's gay, right? And he's lying to his wife about being gay, and then there's his wife and she's got a tumor and she's lying about having a tumor. And they're just sitting there lying to each other. And they're living out these very depressed, terrible lives because they're lying to themselves. Lies are never going to bring you closer to happiness. I promise you. It's not going to bring any happiness into your life. Lying about, the like replacing like if you're lacking connection with your family and you're using the Raptors or sports or some other thing or cam models or OnlyFans to replace that connection that you're missing, bro, go get therapy. I'm just being real. Just get therapy. There's no shame in it, right? When I listen to guys like Larry Kane, when I listen to FA, when I genuinely Vince, when I meet the people in these lives, when I meet these people outside of basketball, when I meet them in real life, I'm always amazed at how consistently awesome they are as people. Uh, I'm not gassing anybody up. I'm just saying, like, it's hard not to admire some of these people. Really, it is. Like the work that they're doing in this world is amazing. So I just want to say, to anyone out there who's ever been sort of feeling like a little bit ostracized in a sports community, right? Because maybe you think that your team played a really bad game and they could have played better. And you're like, hey, we could have done this better. And someone shuts you down and says, no, you need to be a fan this way. I don't get on OnlyFans. You insane? Nah, man. Sorry, I'm not understanding this. Um, yeah, no. I mean, look, what I'm saying is sports can be so much more if you let it be. And once you're good with your life, I think you'll be able to grapple with all the other parts of sports. And this is not me being condescending, and please don't take this the wrong way. And I'm not trying to say I'm right. I get accused of that all the time. Maybe it's just a personality thing. I'm just like rubbing people the wrong way or something. But I'm not trying to say I'm right about everything. I'm just saying that calling an ace, calling a spade is okay. You know, if Scotty's not playing well, saying Scotty's not playing well is not ruining my life at all. I'm not losing any sleep over it. None. Zero. I do not need Scotty Barnes to play well in order for me to sleep at night or to have a good day. This is not what this is about. I understand that when he's going to play well, we're all going to receive a little bit of extra joy about it. If the Raptors play well, we can all be really happy about it. But if your happiness and sadness is dependent on a sports team, that's a problem. In my opinion, that's a problem. Like, and it's not judgment, and I'm not saying it's like, yeah, like it's got to be more than that. So, what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is that when society evolves, the culture evolves, the tastes evolve too. Because once you get past safety needs, physiological needs, love and belonging, right? Then you start focusing on esteem and self-actualization, and that's where the good stuff starts. I gotta be honest, that's where the good stuff starts. Now, I spent a great deal of my life when I was young. I've talked about it in certain lives, but I've never really featured it. I've never really talked about it in a live setting this way. It was really hard to care about self-actualization or anything. Like it was really hard to care about respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, freedom. It's really hard to care about these things when you're worried about where your next meal is going to come from. So first you got to take care of that. You really do, right? If if you don't have air, like talk to anyone who's ever had an asthma attack or something. If you don't have air, talk to anyone who's ever had a food shortage or lives in a village where there's no clean water. Like, oh my God, you are not worried about how the Raptors are doing if you don't have clean water, right? So most of us in North America, as I said before, we take that first step for granted, but don't take the second step for granted because not everyone has it. Employment, resources, health, property. I mean, like in Canada, I think most people get pretty taken care of. It's not quite like the United States, right? You got welfare, you got, government housing, you got free healthcare. Okay, fine. That's about as far as the government can take you. Step one and two. The rest is on you. Your whole life, the rest is going to be on you. Now, I decided to not make my life like my parents' life. And I got to say, I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed. I do exactly what I love for a living. That is a blessing beyond belief. I watched both my parents hate their jobs their whole lives. And I'm not lying. They did not love their jobs. They did not love what they did for a living. They just did it to take care of me and to take care of themselves and to put food on the table. And I think that's the way a lot of people live life, right? And I watched them do it, and then I watched my dad die at 44, and I watched my mom die at 50, and I was like, not for me. I'm not. I can't do that. I split the difference. I was like, yo, I might die at 47. I'm 35 right now. That's 12 years from now. That's crazy to me. So I made a choice that I was going to dig in, and I was going to try to solve these problems one at a time. One at a time. Love and belonging. This is a problem consistently throughout my life where I've been like, maybe my friends don't like me or this or that, whatever. Get to a point where this is not a problem for you. Get to a point where that's not an issue for you. Then you can focus on bigger steps. You can focus on perfecting your habits. You can focus on a longer term vision. It's very difficult, man. It's very difficult to be thinking about habit formation and, your diet and all that shit. It's very difficult. So many people, yeah, I'll tell you right now, I had a really difficult conversation with my cousin 3 years ago. And while I was on the phone with him, I'm having this difficult conversation without even thinking about it. I reach for chocolate. Why? Because that difficult conversation threatens something. It threatened love and belonging. Probably it also threatens safety. When someone comes at you like that, one of the callers, Mario, he's talking about he says invisible tigers. And this conversation, that we've been having sort of ongoing for the last 3 nights, it's got me thinking. We all have a lot of invisible tigers in our lives, don't we? This can be bigger than basketball. So, why am I critical of the Raptors? Because I don't really have big problems in my life, man. I solved my other problems. I don't worry about money. I'm not flexing. Please understand me. I'm not flexing. I worked very hard to get to a point where I'm not worried about money on a day to day basis like my parents were worried about money. I'm not worried about love and belonging. I have great friends. I have a girlfriend that loves me and I care about her. I got no problems in my life. There's no sadness in my life. So, it's okay to be critical of the Raptors. It doesn't ruin my day. Maybe if my life sucked, maybe it would be really hard for me to be critical of the Raptors because that's the truth, right? When you lift weights, we all have a limit to how much we can lift. Think about it. How much can you lift? How much can you bench? How much do you bench, bro? Tell me how much do you bench? I'm curious in the chat. Like, yes, Demetrius, it is alive at 6 a.m. I had an impromptu thought and I just wanted to talk about it. Yeah, it's we're going past basketball for a second here. But I agree with you. Money does not bring happiness. Yo, to me, money is. I'll tell you right now. I went through a lot of money insecurity when I was younger, right? And I worked very damn hard. I worked $5 an hour when I was 12, 13 years old, stacking fucking meat lockers and doing all sorts of crazy shit. I worked 30, 40 hours a week during high school to get myself to a point where I could buy my first place when I was 18. And that's what I did. I bought my first place when I was 18. And I set myself up. And I wanted to do that early. I wanted to struggle early. I wanted to do all that crazy hard shit early so that I didn't have to worry about that stuff. When I was when I was in grade 6, I don't know if I told the story in a live once. When I was in grade 6, I used to sit with my friend and we would go like piano lessons. Like she would have piano lessons. My mom wouldn't pay for piano lessons. I was like, yo, my kids are not going to go through that. I'm going to be able to pay for piano lessons for my kids. So, look, I took care of my problems. I'm not saying I don't have any problems. We all have problems. I'm sure we all have problems on a day-to-day basis. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, if you solve the problems in your life, like if you have, I don't know, kids that you don't you have strained relationships with them, well, then the Raptors are just a means of escaping that, right? I mean, for real, it is. I once read a billboard that stuck with me for for my whole life. Six most dangerous words in the English language. I thought it would go away. It doesn't. It doesn't go away. Deal with your life. Don't use sports to escape life. I know it's a very convenient thing. And you know what? I'm not even saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't do it. You know what? Do it if you need to do it. But be aware that you're doing that. Okay? Be aware. I mean, we've all done it. I remember going through a breakup like 4 years ago. I remember like basically sitting and watching Office reruns for like half a month. Did I use it as escapism? Hell yes, I did. It was processing a lot of emotions. That's okay. Um, we all go through some stuff. It's cool. And if you're going through something and, it overloads you to hear, negative shit. I remember I read a comment on a Facebook group that I'm a part of, and someone was talking about why they don't watch Prince basketball. And they were like, yo, I gave that guy a chance, but I got enough problems in my life. I can't listen to someone bitch and complain about the team that I'm following. I get it. But sports to me is not escapism. I don't watch the Raptors to escape my life. Do you? Nice, man. I'm so glad that there are so many people from all across the world in this chat. It's pretty cool. Thanks a lot. Yo, believe me, it's 5:30 in the morning. So anyways, so one time I got feedback on Pandance, which is the film festival that I run, that it's a little bit heavy. Some of the films are a little bit heavy. And I'm watching these films right now and I'm thinking about that, right? And I gotta be honest, right around 2021, we were running our festival and we programmed a little bit lighter. I was like, yo, people have had a really hard year. Programming a whole bunch of like really sad films for them or shit like that, that's gonna be too much. So we tried to keep things a little bit more action, a little bit lighter. But, you know, I'm watching some of these films and I'm like, this is brilliant. Some of these films are brilliant. They're exploring really deep concepts about life and about self-actualization and yo, like we've all got that next level that we're aspiring to. We all do. We all do. Okay? Like we all do. And that's a consistent part of what we need. I think most of us need some level of belonging, but we also need hope. We also need a challenge. Yo, if your whole life is a challenge, you're not looking for extra challenges. Thank you. I appreciate that. What are my favorite movies? Um, okay, so this is not going to surprise anybody. I love A Separation. It's an Iranian movie by Ashghar Fahadi. Love it. There's a Romanian movie that I really love called 4 Months, 3 Weeks, and 2 Days. It's a brilliant movie. Um, I like No Country for Old Men. One of my favorite American films. Right? It's amazing. I'm also realizing, I was talking to my girlfriend about this yesterday, and I'm learning a lot from the Raptors. I'm learning a lot about myself. I'm learning a lot just about life in general. And I was thinking about how much inspiration I've drawn from just certain people on this team. Just by observing them, by listening to them. The persistence and hard work of a Pascal Siakam, the bet on yourself mentality, this ruthless underdog mentality of a Fred VanVleet, right? The endless compassion, the boundless compassion and giving nature of a Scotty Barnes. These are all things that I hopefully, we can all take from this. Even, the relentless forward vision of a Masai Ujiri. I mean, you realize Masai Ujiri was sleeping on couches in like 2000, 2001. doing a scouting job. I mean, look where he is now. Jeez, if that's not an inspirational thing to take away from sports. Sports brought that story into my life. Sports brought, all the inspiration that I've drawn from Brian and Scotty into my life. Basketball has been really good to me. Sports brought this community into my life. Sports has brought this chat and these chats and these deep dives and these deep conversations. Sports has helped me overcome my fear of getting in front of a camera and talking to people. Sports has allowed me to work on my craft as an editor, as a writer, as a content creator. It's making me a better filmmaker. I can't wait to get back to filmmaking. I mean, progressively, I mean, the more basketball content I make, the more I'm realizing that it's impacting my brain in other directions. This is a great vehicle. It doesn't have to be distraction. Okay? So, if Rob was doing this in Chinese in China, he would get millions of live watchers. Yo, I don't speak Mandarin. I speak six languages, five languages, six languages. I speak six languages, but Mandarin and Cantonese are not two of them. I did, however, for the longest time, have a Mandarin English dictionary. I love Korean movies. Korean movies are amazing. I love The Host. Um, Brilliant movie. Parasite was also amazing. Really loved it. Asian cinema is top notch. Korean cinema, Japanese cinema, it's amazing. Yo, honestly, one of the things I'm very lucky. So I know I want to be clear. I've talked a lot about my childhood on these lives and very openly and honestly, and that's also like a really big thing for me. I was just talking with a girlfriend about this, and I was just like, that's such a, you know what I mean? That's huge. Like just to talk to a whole bunch of strangers very honestly and openly about shit that you used to be really embarrassed about. That's big. It's like a big cathartic moment. One thing that I haven't talked about enough is that I also was very privileged as a child. I mean, yes, on the one side, I was very poor and my parents were very poor and they very much mismanaged their money. But on the other side, like their family was loaded. Like not loaded like kings and queens, but like they were pretty wealthy. And I was very lucky because I guess as the poor kid in the family and a little bit of the black sheep, I got to travel so much. I got to go to Japan. I got to go to Germany. I got to live in France. I got to live in the UK. I got to live in the United States, obviously. I got to live in Italy. I mean, I've been to India, Nepal. I've been to Japan. I've been to so many countries. Egypt, like, it's amazing. Dubai, like, I mean, it's such a blessing. It's truly such a blessing. I talk to people now who are having to, put that travel fund together themselves, and it's expensive. And I mean, I'm lucky, you know, and honestly, like those early childhood experiences are amazing because, you get to see so much of the world and your mind gets to expand. You know, noticed like recently Brian went to Paris. That was super cool. You know, like I know, even like some of the youth basketball, like the the kids who went to USA basketball, right? Like they got to experience different cultures. They got to go play in different countries as 14-year-olds. And a lot of Americans, I mean, I'm being honest, like just don't have passports. A lot of my friends don't in the United States didn't have passports. Film has been a vehicle to travel around the world with film festivals and stuff too. So, look, like I have no complaints with my life. My life is awesome. Yes, I lost my parents very early. Yes, I grew up through a lot of, poverty and, even childhood abuse and stuff. But I have no complaints with my life. My life is amazing. I love my life, wouldn't change it for the world. And I love myself. And I'm saying this, again, not as a flex. I'm saying this to explain that because those problems are now resolved, I'm free to explore other problems. I'm free to explore other problems, right? I don't have like pressing problems in my life. There's no one, like, yes, I've lost a couple of friends over the last couple of years, Christina and Rob, but like, I don't have like a parent who's facing some massive illness that's occupying all my mental strain. I'm not facing food shortage. It's not like anything serious. So basketball can be a vehicle to explore, problem solving. It's amazing. Oh man, that's amazing. Chungking Express is such a good film. It really is. Um, James, I think you would really like Parasite, man. Um, I don't have any strong I don't have any strong opinions about politics, to be honest. I've definitely followed American politics a lot more than Canadian politics. Um, to me, again, politics like left, right, center, I don't care. I'll be friends with you. I'll be friends with you. You tell me you're Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, I don't care. I'm gonna be friends with everybody. I don't want to. I don't want like I'm not gonna use party affiliation because look, like what side of the aisle you lean on is not is to me it's not your character. And I know that there's a lot of people who are closet Republicans that pretend to be Democrats because they work in the film industry or they work in the entertainment industry and they would be outed and hated if they were found out to be conservative. I'm pretty center across the board. There's so many socially, I lean very left, like far left. And maybe economically, I lean more right. So it's a pretty much all over the place. When it comes to politics, I don't have any like strong opinions about Trudeau or whatever. I mean, honestly, I like not to talk out of my ass about things that I haven't properly researched. Um, but yeah, I think it's politics, sports, all of these things. They've sort of become the same thing, right? It's sort of all melted together, hasn't it, to some extent, right? Like they've become a vehicle for people to express their identity, right? I'm a Obama supporter. I'm a Raptor fan, right? There was something that sort of caught me a little bit weirdly off guard. Um, Not off guard, but struck me as odd, which is that when the Raptors won, there was a lot of people saying we won. Right now, I was there. I was there at the championship parade. I was there the night they won. A film of mine was being screened at the Italian Contemporary Film Festival, so I was at the ICFF that night, and they generously at their opening gala, they decided to play the Raptors game. Shout outs to the Italian Contemporary Film Festival, and everyone was going nuts. Everyone was like watching this, and then we all took to the streets after to to go and find Kawak, this guy. And I just remember feeling so happy for the guys who had won. I remember feeling happy for Kyle Lowry. I remember feeling happy for Kawhi Leonard. He got the big FU against the Spurs. I felt happy for Marc Gasol to finally get a ring because he's been such a great player for so long. Serge Ibaka to finally, redeem that. It felt like such a cathartic release for so many guys, and I felt so immensely proud of that team. Um, at no point did I ever feel like I won a championship. At no point did I get a novelty ring, or at no point did I say we won. Like I said they won, and I'm very happy to have supported it. I'm very happy to have watched it, observed it. It was great basketball. It was great to watch. So again, I veer on the side of odd. Maybe I'm odd. I'm very offbeat as a sports fan. You almost think why are you even a sports fan if this is how you feel about sports? Because basketball is a beautiful sport, man. It's beautiful to watch. Um, it can be a vehicle for change in the world. As I've mentioned before, 100 times, it's a vehicle for wealth redistribution in the world. It's an opportunity for so many young people to be active. It serves such a great good in this world. Basketball, soccer, can serve such a huge purpose in this world in terms of uniting people. It's bigger. It's bigger than my day sucked. Let me watch the Raptors. So, anyways, that's what I wanted to say. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. And I want to say that, look, a lot of people have said a lot of stuff about this channel and about me over the last couple of days. Most of it I find to be quite baseless and pretty shit and pretty not true. What I will say is that if you are ever in the same boat where people are saying things about you like this, like, they're calling you not a real fan because maybe you don't think Pascal Siakam is all that, or you don't think that your team is, gonna win a championship, and someone in your friend circle is like, you're a hater because you don't believe in the Raptors, you don't believe in the Leafs. just tell them, you know, like I don't need this. I don't need this to be okay. I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. I don't need the Raptors to be a fake championship contender for me to be okay, but I do need truth in my life. For my life to be integrated, I cannot sit here and lie to you, and I cannot sit here and lie to myself about something that is just not true. That's not happening. I can't be like, oh yeah, like, Scotty Barnes, greatest player in the world, and Pascal Siakam's better than Giannis. Like, yeah, if that was true, I would be happy, but it's not true. So how am I supposed to be happy with something that's not true? I'm definitely not going to sit here and lie to myself about it. How does that make my life better? Exactly. Exactly. No, I agree. Basketball can be applied to life and work so much. Principles are applicable across. Absolutely. I mean, yo, I have learned so much um, from basketball players that I admire throughout the years. Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, like so much about life. I mean, it's kind of a sad thing for me because I didn't have parents growing up that were just consistently setting great examples for me. So I often looked to athletes. Sorry, Charles Barkley, you were a role model. A lot of these young men who maybe sometimes are 23, 24 years old themselves do become role models for young kids, right? And I've learned a lot from basketball. I've learned a lot by watching this, sport about the dynamics of human beings, dynamics of teams, dynamics of leadership. But I've also learned a lot about life. It's impossible to listen to Kobe Bryant talk about his work ethic or his preparation and not get something from it. It's impossible to listen to LeBron James talk about the grander vision of staying focused and not take something from it. It's impossible for me to listen to Scotty Barnes talk about his purpose and vision for team first basketball and not somehow apply that to become a slightly more selfless leader in my own life. I'm not getting from basketball what a lot of people are getting from basketball. I'm not going to be a rah rah cheerleader. I can, however, as I mentioned in the live last night, dial down the, aggressive, like beat it down your throat type of negativity. I don't even consider it that, but if people need that to chill out, that's fine. I don't need to do that. But as I mentioned before, basketball does not need to be a passive thing. It can be a very active thing. You do not need to consume basketball. You can actually shape basketball. Um, I'm about to be 28 and I'll tell you money brings happiness like nothing in this world ever will. More than love, inclusiveness, anything. That's funny. Um, I disagree, but I will tell you that this is pretty scientifically verifiable that money does impact happiness. Yes, up until a certain degree. So the verifiable thing is that so people who tell you that money doesn't impact happiness are lying, and people who tell you that money is going to bring you happiness are probably also lying. No offense, I'm a fun guy. I'm not trying to say you're lying, but I don't think you're right. Money can impact happiness if there is a significant jump in your income. So say for instance you make $40,000 a year right now and someone offers you $120,000 a year, that's tripling your income. Yeah, I guarantee you will enjoy some more happiness. Not It's not going to make your miserable life great. If your life sucks, it's not going to make your life great, but it will impact happiness a little bit. Exactly. This is this is exactly it. It brings some level of security. Yet there are some hella insecure people with a lot of money out there, right? So it brings some security. I don't say it brings you all the security you need, but it brings you some level of baseline security that you're not going to starve to death, you're not going to, be homeless. It takes care of a few things, so it opens your mind up to deal with your bigger problems, right? I think that's sort of what you're getting at there. Um, da, 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 da. Um, Yo, I mean, look, people are always going to pick on what's different. Always. Always, always, always. And, it threatens a lot of people when people are different. It doesn't even matter if it's good, different, bad, different. It doesn't matter. If you're different, people are always going to have an issue with it. Yo, if you're a dude who shows up to school in a space suit, or some astronaut suit or something, you be teased mercilessly. Why? What's the difference? Who cares? You're wearing a t-shirt. Why is that better than an astronaut suit? It's just different. Who cares? You know, that was probably a horrible example, but I hope you get what I'm saying. It's completely arbitrary what you wore to school, what brand of clothes you got on or whatever, what color clothes you like want to wear, how you want to do your hair. This shit is so abstract. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But people need that shit in their lives. I'm noticing that there's a lot of people that I've seen on this channel that are now floating onto another channel. And it was kind of weird because when I was noticing them on this channel, they would always call in or they would always talk or in the chats. They always had this sort of heavy energy, like they were really miserable and they were really sad. And, to those people, I just want to say, I want to end this live on this. If my basketball takes ever made your life worse, I apologize. I genuinely do. I want to say that from the bottom of my heart. If you watch basketball to escape your problems, and I, through, either hating on Fred or Pascal or, some sort of attempt at reality, took something away from you, I understand that that would probably get you to absolutely hate me. I get that. I totally get that. Believe me, I do. I'm a self-aware enough person to know that, right? Um, but it was never my intention. It was never my intention, right? What I will say, however, like any drug addiction, like any habit that's maybe not a good habit, like any vice, any crutch, any distraction, that once you remove it, something must take its place. Let that thing be the truth. Let that thing be reality. Reality is okay. One of the things that we have on our fridge, it's something that I said, and my girlfriend decided to write it down. She put it on our fridge, and it's something that I look at every single day. And it says, when you are okay, everything is okay. I think that's a really great way to approach life. When you're okay, you don't sweat the small stuff. When you're okay, you don't make 27-minute videos, 27-minute videos about a 2-second, name drop. You just don't care. You don't sweat the small stuff. You just don't. It doesn't consume your life. It's not consuming your waking thoughts, right? So, yeah, I've been there. I've been there. I smoked. So I smoked for a long, long period of my life. Uh, yeah. Anyways, self acceptance is the way to go. Embrace the truth. I don't mean to sound like one of those, you know, um, I don't know, like a 9/11 truther or a flat earther. I swear to God, like sometimes I veer into territory where I'm like, someone's gonna hear 10 seconds of this and assume that I'm crazy. No, I'm just saying embrace the truth. Whatever the truth is, yo, whatever the truth is, whatever your truth, whatever the truth, whatever your issues, lean into it. It's going to be painful for 10 seconds, then you're going to deal with it and your life's going to get better, right? Dodging problems doesn't make them better. Lying about how good your team is isn't going to make your life better. It just adds another complication in your life, and now you start hating everyone who's telling you the truth, and now you hate yourself because you believe a lie, and then you have to basically go into an echo chamber of a whole bunch of other people who are doing the same thing, right? Like it's a losing bet. It's a losing bet. So I'm going to leave this just for everybody out there. I'm not saying you have to do this, but I honestly have a lot of faith in this community. Okay, I do. I'm not trying to gas you guys up. I have a lot of faith in this community, the people who listen to this channel, the people who are consistently in these lives, I have a lot of faith in you guys that you're all trying to do something with your lives. You're trying to be better brothers, better sisters, better husbands, better wives, better community leaders, better entrepreneurs, better businessmen, better basketball players, whatever you're doing. I hope that you're here and you're getting better at it. I hope you're trying to be a better chess player. I hope you're expanding your knowledge. I hope that you're trying to learn new things every single day. This is the kind of message that I want to, I want to bestow and share upon, share with this world is that growth is not done. You could be, I don't want to say you could be whatever you want to be. There's a limit to it. I mean, you can, you have to work really hard for it. But whatever ails you in your life, whatever, is missing from your life, I promise with some hard work, within some reason, within some limits of reality, you can add it. I never in my wildest dreams imagined when I was 12 or 13 watching, my parents struggle that I would wake up one day and be like, I could choose to work or choose not to work. I never thought that. I thought I was going to be destined to work at factories and work some, job that I didn't want to go to or something because that's all I saw around me. And it just takes a lot of hard work. It takes sacrifice, it takes hard work, and it takes leaning into the truth, man. It takes someone to tell you the truth, and it takes you accepting the truth in order to change anything in your life. Now, this is way, way, way deep talk for a Raptors channel. So I understand if this is going to lose us some more subscribers, and I get it. But I just wanted to share this with this community because you know what? I I genuinely believe that this community is full of people who are trying to make their lives better. And I hope that this channel is going to, at some point, if it hasn't already, contribute to making your life a little bit better. I hope at some point that we can start sharing ideas that go beyond basketball, that go into entrepreneurship, that go into business opportunities, grants, stuff like that. Like, we can be so much more than just Raptors were good today, Raptors were bad today. It's boring shit, man. We can go so much deeper. We can talk analytics. We can talk, team building concepts and how it pertains to, corporate structures. I mean, there's so much, but the most important thing here is that, your brain is always shaping. That's cool. That's cool. Honestly, long story short, we have we have 5,000 subscribers like 3 to 4 days ago. Dropped the low light video, lost a bunch of subscribers. It looks like a lot, but it's 1%, bro. 1%. You lose 1% of your subscribers. I'm not losing any sleep over it. I'm cool. Yep. It's cool. Don't worry. Look, anytime we make a Pascal video that's anti-Pascal, you always lose 30, 40 subscribers. It happens. It's just, it is the nature of it. No, I agree. I agree, James. It is. Sometimes it's just, talking about whatever, talking about Greek cinema. I find running Pendants, this film festival that I run, has been such a cool experience for me because you get to see these films from all over the world, and every single film that comes into Pendants, whether it be from Greece, Cyprus, Serbia, sorry, I'm just going like so Europe there, but like whether it's from Korea, China, like films come from all over the world, India, Sri Lanka, you know, all over the world, South America, and you're seeing one person's 10-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour reflection of what they're seeing in the world, whatever is in their life. And I assure you, that a war happening in your country is going to change the art and the entire political structure of your country for the next 10 years because it's going to shape people's experiences, and people's experiences shape their reality. Why is that a big thing? Are you from Cyprus? Um, yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna go off to sleep, and I hope that those of you who are here either are working night shifts or are really early risers. Um, I mean, look, you can love like loving people does not mean lying about them. You want to love someone, you love your kids, tell them the truth. Honestly, maybe that's the biggest message here. If you love something, number one, tell them the truth. Number two, let it go. Let it go. If you love someone, you let them be. You don't suffocate them to death, and you don't lie to them. You don't lie about people that you love. And you don't lie to people that you love. You tell them the truth. You tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Facts. Facts, Mr. Chunky. That is 100% true. Um, like, I mean, seriously, how many people have had best friends who are, just with miserable partners? I mean, how many people do you know that get divorced after like 5, 6 years of just living with the worst person ever? And it's just, they were miserable the whole time. And everyone's like, oh, I hated that person. I hated that person. It's like, you're just looking at those people like, why didn't you tell me? Why did you not tell me that you hated this person? I might have, built up some steam and some momentum. I might have gotten some, if I hate your spouse, I'm going to tell you I hate your spouse. I'm just being real. Like, if I don't like who you're with, I'm not going to tell them to their face that I hate you or something. I'm not an asshole, but like, if you ask me about it, like, oh, do you love this girl that I'm dating, and I'm your friend? I'm like, actually your friend, and I'm your well wisher. I'm going to say they're not my vibe. And if you hate me for it, that's cool. That's on you. Then you don't need me in your life. That's cool. Man, I got to tell you, it has taken me forever to get to that point. It's taken me forever. I remember when I was super young, um, when I was really young, it was like grade five, grade four, something around there. And we were so poor, we didn't have video games. And I lied at school about having this video game that I objectively did not have. And then I got caught lying about the fact that I had this video game that I didn't have. And I felt so much shame and so, terrible about it, right? Like, I remember when I was in six, grade six, grade seven, we were poor. So, like, I thought it was because we were poor. I used to bring my lunch from home every single day, and all these other kids, they had, cafeteria lunch. And I used to feel really embarrassed about that. I really did. I'm not even lying about it. Like, I felt really embarrassed. Sometimes I would feel so embarrassed that I would leave the lunch in my backpack. I wouldn't even eat lunch because I was embarrassed. I remember when I was in grade seven, I had acne, like serious acne, and I would not want to go to school. Why? Because I felt embarrassed. I remember, just keeping it 100. I remember when I got fake Nike shoes, fake Nikes, Nick Air. Does anyone remember those? Nick Air from Byway, Nik Air. And I remember coming to school thinking I was gonna pull a fast one. I didn't even think about it too much, to be honest. But I remember walking towards school, and this one dude, Kevin, really, really hated my guts. He just openly blasted it. He just immediately was like, "Oh, your parents are too poor to get you these, proper Nike shoes. Got these fake ass Nikes." And I remember my friend coming to my aid there, and he was just like, "Oh, that's how they spell Nike in Europe." Smooth, smooth move. I like that. I will never forget him doing that for me because it's obviously a lie, and I appreciate him doing that because it kind of saved face for me for 2 seconds. But I gotta tell you, I went home and I told my mom I'm not wearing these shoes anymore. She's like, "Why? They're perfectly fine shoes." And I'm like, "They're fake. They're fake. They're fake." And you get mad. Shame is disgusting. It's a disgusting feeling. Nobody should want to live with shame, you know? And it eats you up inside. It like makes you a bitter person. It makes you not a very good person. I feel like if you live with a lot of shame, pride is like the antithesis of shame. Having self-respect and self-pride, that's like, I don't think it's possible to do something for someone that you can't do for yourself. I really don't. I believe that to be 100% true. So many of us want to give people things that we don't even have. So my mom and my dad were terrible with money, but their families were not. Like my dad's brothers, they were good with money. They didn't flail out in business, and my mom's sisters married well. Um, I'm just being real. They married pretty well, and their husbands did well. So just because they had money doesn't mean that we had money. We still went through government housing, shelters, hand-me-downs. I don't want to say it wasn't quite food stamps. I'm not trying to stretch it that way, but I definitely was homeless for a little bit. When I was like 12, 13 years old, I was definitely homeless for a bit. In terms of high school, Agent Court. Uh, sorry, not Agent Court, Stephen Leacock. So it was around Agent Court. Uh, I wear no brand shoes. Yeah, I mean, but to a lot of people, like their bank account doesn't define them. The car that they drive defines them. The suit that they're wearing defines them. The purse and all that stuff. We're living in a society where the number of Instagram followers, the number of subscribers you have, it's like social currency. It's almost like we use that metric to define how much I'm supposed to respect you, right? Oh, you got 1.2 million, you know? I remember one time I bumped into Akil Augustine on a subway, and we were just talking hoops. And I was telling him I know this person, that person, whatever, that we both knew. And I remember asking him because he was hosting a show on the Raptors TV channel, and I was like, "Yo, have me on sometime. Have me on sometime. Let me cook. Like I'm good. Like I can do this. Basically, what I'm doing right now." And he was just like, "How many Twitter followers do you have?" Right? And that just immediately squashed it because I didn't have Twitter, and I was like zero. And he's just like, "Oh well, you gotta have a following to do this or whatever." And while I understood where he was coming from, I gotta tell you, I've always resented that comment, and I've always remembered it. That was 10 years ago, and I still remember him saying that to me. Um, I mean, some people don't have equal families. I'm just being real. Like some people have families that protect them, some have families that abuse them, some have families that die early. Like we, not great. Um, I don't necessarily believe that, to be honest. I've seen some families do some pretty shitty things to each other. Like I've seen a lot of families do some pretty shit things to each other. Um, yeah. Yo, that's cool. Like I remember we played Eastern Commerce once when they were really good, and we got beat by like 25. Like it was bad. West Hill was also really good. Um, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna end this live now. Of course, I'm done programming Pendants. It's gonna be a really good film festival. I hope that some of you will be able to check it out over the next 45 days or so, which is right around when Pendants is in 45 days, the end of April. Uh, Hopefully, I'll have a chance to talk about it, plug it a little bit, tell you guys about it. If you follow this channel and you like this channel and what this channel is about, I assure you that you're definitely gonna like this festival. And yeah, hopefully we can do some ticket giveaways and stuff, and we can introduce some culture to culture to the Raptors community. Um, yes, it was, man. I remember one time they showed up with like 7 players. Our team had like 12, and these two had 7, and they played 6. They were like Nick Nurse before Nick Nurse was. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like this is in the broader context. This is Raptors talk. I'm just letting people know that there's no one way to be a fan. There's not just one way to be a fan. I know people who watch basketball because they're fascinated by athletes. I know people who watch basketball because they their kids watch basketball or their kids play basketball. I know people who watch basketball because it allows them to connect with their kids or their parents. I know people who watch basketball because it's a cultural pride thing. Like the country they grew up in, basketball was a really big thing, and watching basketball helps them feel connected to home. I know people who watch basketball because they're analytics nerds and they're trying to develop like new algorithmic ways to track basketball. I know people who watch basketball because it's a pastime. I know I know people who watch basketball because uh, they're big wigs in real estate or in some other business, and it's just a way for them to treat their clients, to take their clients one at a time with their big season tickets. People watch basketball for a million different reasons. People have completely, different levels of engagement and different angles from which they're going to approach the game. I mean, we had a person, I think his name's Thierry. If he ends up watching this at some point, and I think he said he was a physiotherapist, and he had this very interesting take on OG where he was comparing OG to his patients and how he says OG has worse balance than most of his patients. And I mean, I think that's such a fascinating thing because it's like, man, like I'm not a physiotherapist, but if I was a physiotherapist, how differently would I see the game and what different elements of the game would I focus on? So I guess what I'm saying is there's no one way to be a fan. Don't let anybody tell you that the way that you are being a fan is wrong. And if being critical of a team that's playing poorly is your way of being a fan, or if being rah rah and not wanting to sweat the big stuff. I'm never gonna, I'm never gonna see someone who doesn't care about the analytics and be like, oh, well, you're so stupid and you're a dumb fan or, whatever. It's fine. It's not for everybody. Who has time, to sit in and be like, okay, Jakob Pertl's box plus minus is better than this person's box. Some people just do not have time. They want the straight dope, right? Like 8 rebounds, 10 points, great game, Jakob Pertl. They don't want anything beyond that. I get that, right? Absolutely, absolutely. It can totally be an escape. My point is, whether you use it as an escape, whether you use it as a way to build your brain, whether you use it for whatever, it doesn't matter to me. But feel free to use it however you need to. Don't let it use you though. Don't let it become something that is destructive to your life. And again, to anyone out there who has felt bummed out because my take on the Raptors has been overly bearish, please understand it's not because I'm trying to make your day worse. It's not because I hate the Raptors. It's just genuinely because that's what I see. That's what I saw. In that moment, I saw struggles. I saw a brand of basketball that doesn't work, that is not conducive to winning. So I called it out. It's just what it is. Anyway, have a good morning and have a great day, guys. You know, this might be one of those ghost streams. I don't know. Don't be surprised if this just goes away in like 3, 4 hours. I don't want to. This is just something for me to vent out some thoughts that I had at 5:30 in the morning. Have a great day. See ya.